Hey everybody, it is your favourite Welshman here, and I'm back with another video. Bit of a different angle on the webcam, but something a little bit different for you, so I hope you enjoy. Sit back, relax, let's get into the video. I hope you are okay, guys. So like I said, this is a bit of a different angle today. As you can tell, I'm doing this through my webcam. I just had a new laptop, so I'm trying to play around with things. And you know, when I got a blog series coming, so I'm trying to see out what the quality of this one is, along with my new mic, which is right by there. And yeah, basically going to do a review of last night's fantastic show, which was AEW Revolution. So I hope you enjoyed the review, and I'm going to get straight into it and tell you what I thought about it. But before I get into all of that, I just want to give you a big explanation. Now, for those who do know me at I do love my wrestling. I'm a bit of a geek for my wrestling, if you want to say, whether it's AEW, WWE, ROH, MLW, NWA, you name it, I've probably watched it and looked at it. So I wanted to try this review thing and see how it goes, see how it goes in the video. Because also I have been a little bit absent recently because I haven't really had any ideas, and I'm still trying to find ideas. I got a few coming up, like I said. Hopefully got a vlog series coming up, and hopefully got a series where I'm going to speaking to singers and people that I work with, and we'll just do like a singing session. We'll do a little interview, and then we'll do a little bit of a sing song at the end. But that is all still in the works, so we're going to try and work out if we can do that. Hopefully very soon we can. So our opening match for the card, so we're getting to the actual reason for this video, is the review. So the opening match was obviously, we do the pre-show, the buy-in, and I've got my notes here, so if you just me look into that side because I'm checking my notes. So we had the opening, the pre-match, and the match for that one was Britt Baker, and it was meant to be Rebby, or Rebel as most people know it, versus Thunder Rosa and Riho. Now before the match, Britt Baker came out saying that Rebel or Revy was injured, as she wasn't medically cleared, so she had a replacement, and they brought in who, in my opinion, is a really big asset, and I cannot wait, you know, when the crowds are full. But they brought in Maki Ito. So for those who did watch AEW, there was the women's tournament, and Maki Ito was one of the superstars who competed in that one, and she was brought in as a replacement for Rebel. Now, this is what you can usually expect from a pre-show match. Nothing special, nothing over the top, the usual kind of thing. And you know, it was a decent match. And it was ended up by the way it ended was we had Rebel hitting Thunder Rosa in the head with the crutch, supposed crutch that she was injured with, and so that match ended with Britt Baker and Maki Ito winning, and obviously taking the win in the pre-show. So for that match, I'm going to give each match a rating as well, and I'm going to maybe put the rating either side. I don't know what side it's going to go. It's going to go that side or that side. We'll find out what it is. But for that match, I'm going to give that one maybe a 2 out of 5. Like, it was a house show match in my opinion. It wasn't a pay-per-view, but it was the pre-show. So it's nothing really special. The pre-show's more about hyping up the pay-per-view. So for that match, it is going to get, I don't know, I'm going to try it. We're going to give it a 2 out of 5. So we are now going to move into the actual pay-per-view matches. I've moved over a little bit because I didn't have enough room for the last little transition. So, like I said, we're going to try and do this in one take. But, like I said, we're going to move on to the pay-per-view now. So the actual matches of the pay-per-view. And the opening match for this pay-per-view, it was for the AEW Tag Team Championships, where we saw the Inner Circles, MJF, and Chris Jericho taking on the Young Bucks. Now, for those who follow AEW, this match has been building for quite some time. And I mean, you know, it's the whole story again of two singles wrestlers come together to face a tag team. Now, for those who remember last year's Revolution, there was a great match between both Kenny Omega and Hangman Page versus the Young Bucks for those titles. And great match, can't complain about it. But this one didn't live up to that as much as I did. Great match. It was some great little spots. Fantastic spot in the middle of the match, towards the end of the match, where Nick and Matt Jackson played super kick tennis with MJF's head. So just kept kicking back and forth. So great spots. It's nice to build in the story as well, because during that match there was a spot where obviously Chris Jericho hit the Judas effect on Wardlow, and that took Wardlow out of the match, therefore making it a 2-on-2, and it ended up with the Young Bucks hitting the Metzler driver onto Chris Jericho after a great low kick off Lion Salt, sorry. But, again, an okay match. The build, it's good to see this. AEW's always had a thing about doing storylines, and this is now building up, because obviously at next week's episode of AEW there will be a Inner Circle War Council, as they call it. So they will be doing talking about it, but I think this is going to be the chance now for MJF to kind of say, do you know what, boys? I've got people in the circle. Maybe Chris Jericho isn't as good as he used to be. So this is going to probably be the sowing the seeds, where Sam Guevara's already left due to MJF, and now obviously MJF's going to come in and maybe take over from Jericho, or try and cause that dissension within the Inner Circle, which is a storyline we all knew was coming up. But again, in general, it was a good match. There was some great spots, there was some funny spots, and it's building up a lovely storyline. So for that match, we are going to go with a 3.5 out of 5. Again, nothing overly exciting, but a good match in general. The thing is, whenever you put a tag team match together with the Young Bucks, you're going to get a good result. So yes, we can move on to the next match. Okay, so our next match, it was the Casino Battle Royal for a shot at the Young Bucks at the next pay-per-view, I think, or number one contenders Battle Royal. Now, basically this, I wouldn't say it was the filler match, but this match was basically a chance for all the tag teams to make a spot, make a name for themselves, and try and get themselves a shot at the tag team titles. Now, I'm not going to go through all the tag teams, because there was a lot of tag teams in this one, and there were some great little spots and great little bits and pieces. But what I'm going to finish it on is what I thought of the final few. So the way the Casino Battle Royal worked was, it was a battle royal. You get eliminated by being thrown over the top rope, and when both partners are thrown over the top rope, then the team is eliminated. So one of the teams could be eliminated, but the team can still challenge those titles if that person who's playing the singles with it. So it went a great match. So we got to see your usuals. We got to see dissension in the Nightmare family between QT Marshall, or Marshall, doing it like that. QT Marshall and what's his name? Dustin Rhodes. Dustin Rhodes. So yeah, there was a great little spot between them where QT Marshall threw out the Gun Club, who were currently associated with the Nightmare family, and Dustin kind of questions him, why are you doing it? Why did you just take out a team that is working with us? QT Marshall said, stuff this, jumped over the top, eliminated himself, and then spat at Dustin. So obviously we've seen the dissension of the natural nightmares come together. I think that seed was sown a few weeks ago when Lee Johnson got his first win, and he was thanking all the Rhodes family, but he didn't thank QT Marshall, who actually trained him. So this is where I think this storyline is going, disrespect and all that kind of stuff. So we're going to see a split of the Nightmare family. So that was one of the things that happened as well. Butcher and Blade were being Butcher and Blade, just annihilating everyone, and it was a great spot where Bear Bronson, if I remember right, one from Bear Country, basically had I think it was Varsity Blondes. Well, I remember the Varsity Blondes and Evil Uno in a powerbomb powerbomb World's Strongest Slam kind of move. Had them both up and slammed them both down. Great spots. A lot of intertwining matches in this one. But we're going to talk about the final few. So the final four in the match, it was John Silver from the Dark Order, Jungle Boy from Jurassic Express, and then we had Pac and Ray Phoenix. And in my opinion, Ray Phoenix is the greatest wrestler at the moment, and without a doubt, one of the greatest Lucha Libre stars. Needs I think he's more of a TNT superstar, I should say, but TNT championship holder, sorry. But that was the final thing. So John Silver and Jungle Boy had to team up against Pac and Rey Fenix, or also known as Death Triangle. And the way it ended up, they eliminated John Silver, and it was then down to Jungle Boy versus Death Triangle. Again, some great spots, some near things. Jungle Boy eliminates Pac, and it's down to, again, two of the greatest superstars in the future of AEW, in my opinion, Jungle Boy and Rey Fenix. So those two are fighting out. It comes down to the end of it. The winners is Death Triangle, Rey Fenix, and Pac. So they will now go on to face the Young Bucks for a shot at they get a shot at the tag team titles. Now, this was your typical battle royal. Was it a filler match? Maybe. It was a good match. I won't deny that. Some great spots in it. But I think it was, it was kind of just to fill a space and to try and use as many people as they can for the pay-per-view. So this match is going to get, again, it's going to get a 3 out of 5. Great spot. I'm looking forward to Death Triangle versus the Young Bucks. That's going to be one hell of a match. That's going to be high flying. So for those who watched the match between Rey Fenix and Matt Jackson, I think Matt Jackson, yeah. Superb. Absolutely great match. So this one is going to get a solid middle of the part. It's going to get a 3 out of 5. I'm looking forward to seeing where this one goes. Okay, so we are now going to move on to your next match. So our next match, in my opinion, was probably one of the most underrated matches on this card. Because, to be honest, AEW have not really pushed this division. So, the next match was for the AEW Women's Championship, and we saw Hikaru Shida versus Ryo Mizunami. Hopefully I said that right. And obviously I said it was for the AEW Women's Champion. Now, Ryo Mizunami won the women's tournament. She went through some great Japanese wrestlers and then beat Nyla Rose, which in my opinion was a shock. I was not expecting Ryo Mizunami to beat Nyla Rose in the finals and go on to face Shida. And the thing is, there's a history between these two. There's a great little package at the beginning of the match talking about how Mizunami has always said that within 100 years that Hikaru Shida will never beat Mizunami. A great little package, great build-up, a lot of storyline that probably a lot of people I didn't know about. Great storyline, great build-up, and like I said, in my opinion, one of the most underrated matches in this one. Now, why I say that is because I'm a fan of Japanese. I'm a big fan of New Japan Pro Wrestling, and I'm a very big fan of Strong Style. I love the hard-hitting stuff. I love the New Japan, and this was that, but for women. I mean, there was some big hits in this one, but it was your typical Japanese Strong Style match, like, I'll hit you with a German suplex, but I'm going to roll out and I'm going to hit you with a lariat, but I'm not going to sell it. It was a lot of non-selling and a lot of big hits in this one. In my opinion, though, the result was already kind of predetermined. Well, obviously, as we know, wrestling, the results are predetermined. But, you kind of already knew what was going to happen with it. And after a big, hard-hitting thing, Hikaru Shida hits Tomoshi, which is a running knee strike. She hit it once, didn't work. Tried it again, didn't work. So went for a variation of it, a corkscrew Tomoshi, corkscrew knee strike, which looks really good. I thought this when I saw it, I thought it was going to be like a duking kind of thing, but it looked really good, almost like a what's his name, Leo Rush. That's it. Oh, I got to do that. So almost like a Leo Rush tornado enziguri, which is one of my favorite moves in wrestling. So she hit the corkscrew Tomoshi to get the 1-2-3 and retain the title. Now, a solid match. But then towards the end of that one, Hikaru Shida was celebrating. Out comes Nyla Rose. Nyla Rose starts attacking Hikaru Shida, so I'm guessing that's where this is going to be going. Hikaru Shida, so Mizunami, sorry, and then Shida helps out Nyla Rose, helps out Hikaru Shida, get my words right. And then while Hikaru Shida was helping out, we then had the return of Britt Baker and Maki Ito, who then came out and started attacking both Mizunami and Shida. And then while that going on, Thunder Rosa and Rio come out for the save. So this is building up. So next Wednesday there will be a 6 women's match. With it will be Rio, Mizunami and Shida versus Nyla Rose, Britt Baker and Maki Ito. Now this match, again, one of the most underrated matches in my opinion. I really like this match. Some great near falls from both superstars. So for me, this match does get a good solid 4 out of 5. Yeah, I'm going to go for it. I'm going to put a 4 out of 5. Great match. The typical kind of thing from 2 Japanese superstars who are hard-hitting. So, yeah, that's what I'm going to get. And I'm looking forward to this 6 women's match coming up on Wednesday for Dynamite. But we're going to move on to your next match. Okay, so our next match was a tag team match, and we had a match that I didn't realize that was actually happening. So we had the Best Man Miro and Kip Sabian versus Chuck Taylor and Orange Cassidy. Now this rivalry has been going on for so long, and I'm getting bored of it now. I'm going to be straight up with this one. I love Miro. Miro's going to be he's going to be a TNT champion this year, and he's going to be challenging for the world title probably about next year, I'd say. That's just my opinion. Miro isn't the best. This is the best Miro, or Rusev as people would know him, but Miro is looked. So I'm a fan of Miro. Always been a fan of Kip Sabian. You know, the UK style. He had the first match in AEW, and I really do like Kip Sabian. I like what he does. I like his moveset, and I love Penelope Ford. She's one of the sexiest women in wrestling right now. And like I said, so it was them two versus Chuck Taylor and Orange Cassidy. Now, again, this is a rivalry that has been going on for quite some time, and it's starting to get a little bit repetitive. But there were some nice little twists in this one, which could hopefully now see this rivalry, I hope, finishing soon, and then transitioning into something. So, the match didn't start in the ring. So the way it started out, there was a little interview section out the back, and Miro and Kip Sabian attack Cassidy and Chuck Taylor, with Miro slamming Chuck Taylor's head through plain glass in a door. And then looking at the camera, plays music. So he drags Chuck Taylor down, and then it's Chuck Taylor on his own, arm bloodied, cut in his face, almost a cut in his eye. I think he had a bit of a cut in his eye as well. So that would kind of that could be a thing. But so they get into it. Miro is just kicking the crap out of Chuck Taylor, as you'd expect, just smashing through a glass window. Orange Cassidy eventually comes out, hits a beautiful orange punch from off the stage into Miro, and takes Miro out for a while then. So the match goes on, back and forth. Then the big spots in this one, one of the big spots in this one, I think Chuck Taylor or Orange Cassidy was going for the punch. Yeah, Orange Cassidy was going for his orange punch, and Penelope falls on the ring. So Miro pushes Orange Cassidy into Penelope Ford. Penelope Ford goes face first into the ring, back into the barricades. And so this is when I'm thinking the dissension is going to start coming. If Kip Sabian saw what happened, etc. So Kip Sabian is looking after his wife. But then the tag is made. Chuck Taylor comes in. Miro, again, looking in the best shape he has ever done. Miro takes out Chuck Taylor and hits the game over. Which it looks, he made us look really vicious. He hit him, caught him in the wet, held it, and then bam, cranked back, and Chuck Taylor taps out straight away. So again, I think this was another one of those filler matches, just to about time. But considering the length of this pay-per-view, you understand, it's a bit weird where there's so many filler matches. Chuck Taylor gets the win. Then there's the whole Kip Sabian at the back. Then is kind of saying, "Look, I look after my wife." Miro goes on to Kip about wait, you, etc. And all. Then look, that the whole kind of storylines you'd expect from this kind of thing. So there's tension there. So again, a solid match, an okay match. Nothing special, nothing really developed. So unfortunately, it's probably the lowest rating. This one is only going to get a 2.5 out of 5. I'm not saying it was a bad match, but I'm not saying it was a good match. It was just a match. There's the storylines with the whole Miro taking out Penelope Ford, but you can expect that from this kind of storyline. So yeah, that was my rating on that one. Good match, not a great match, not an awesome match. It was a good match. But yeah, we are now going to move on to your next one. Okay, so we go on to our next match. So this next match was one I was kind of looking forward to, just due to the fact of the person who was in it. So the next match that we had on the card, it was the big money match between Big Money Matt Hardy and Hangman Adam Page. Now, a background on this one, a little bit of story. So Adam Page was trying to be recruited by Matt Hardy. They did a whole contract thing. So again, I don't want to go into this for too long because these reviews can go on for quite some time. So basically, they signed a contract where whoever wins this match, whoever wins this match will get the other person's 100% of the other person's earnings from the first quarter. So a lot of money, a big money match. So this was, I must say, this was a good storyline because this was kind of a lot of development storylines in this one, and it was what you could expect from a Matt Hardy match. Now, Hangman Page can make majority of people look good. He is just such a great superstar and a great worker. But it's your typical kind of thing you'd expect from Matt Hardy. The same repetitive moves, side effects, the punches, the usual kind of thing. So you can't really expect from it. The whole tail match was Matt Hardy working over the right arm and hand of Adam Page, because obviously Adam Page likes to use that buckshot lariat where he has to prepare himself using his hand into a lariat. So the story of that one was Hardy working over the hand and trying to take that out of Adam Page's repertoire. Obviously, as you expect from this one, there was the interference from Private Party. So Private Party came out and distract Adam Page, which Matt Hardy then is trying to. So Adam Page sticks out Private Party, and they're still trying to distract. Out come the Dark Order, which is I'm intrigued to see where they're going with the Dark Order with this one. So the Dark Order comes out, takes out both members of Private Party. And then as a big clubbing blow from Matt Hardy, where the Dark Order members catch Adam Page, hold him back on the thing, and it throws him back onto the ring apron for the buckshot lariat, and your winner is Adam Page. Now, like I said, this was your typical Matt Hardy match. And Matt Hardy is, he's coming towards the end of his career, like a lot of superstars who have kind of signed up right now. He's coming to the end of his career. So it's what you'd expect. It's nothing special. I think the biggest thing in this one was the storyline in it, and the ending. After the whole match had done, Adam Page celebrates with Dark Order, hugs, like proper friends. Is he going to be a member of the Dark Order? I don't know. I think it might be a kind of an association, like it was originally with Colt Cabana. But obviously now Colt Cabana is now a full member of the Dark Order. But I think it's going to be that kind of association. I think they're kind of going to play that. But you'll have the backup. But I think this is Adam Page's time. And I was thinking about this while I was watching the show. In my opinion, Adam Page will hold the AEW title. He will be holding that title maybe towards the end of this year. I think his time now. I think that they could put the TNT title on him, but I think he needs to be a world champion. He's just that kind of superstar, and I like that. So for this match, considering everything I went from it, we're going to give this one a 3 out of 5. It was middle of the park. Again, it was your typical kind of match. I keep saying that you can accept from Matt Hardy, considering the limitations of what he's got with his age and all that. Typical match, great story. So this one does get that score, 3 out of 5. And we are going to move on to, if I remember right, this is the match that I was looking forward to. So we're going to move on to your next match. So, as I said, we are going to move on to the next match. Now, this was the match that I was looking forward to. Apart from the main event, which we'll be getting on to very soon, this was one of the matches on the card that I was looking forward to seeing. And it was the Face of the Revolution ladder match. So, the rules of this one is a ladder match, and the winner of this one will get a shot at Darby Allin's TNT title on Wednesday's Dynamite. So in this match, from where we had Max Caster, Scorpio Sky, Penta El Zero Miedo, Lance Archer, Cody Rhodes, and a mystery opponent. Now, out of that list, my money was either on Scorpio Sky or Penta. And that's why I had for one of them. But we're going to go on to the debut. And it was, so like I said, about all of them, and we had a debut superstar, and it was All Ego Ethan Page from, obviously, Impact Wrestling, who obviously became a free agent. And was this a shock? I don't know. I know there was, because as far as I thought he'd signed with WWE. I thought there was a contract he'd signed with WWE or something. Or I heard that in the rumor, in the dirt sheets and the rumors. But no, we now have All Ego Ethan Page here in AEW, which is going to be interesting, especially with this whole new partnership that AEW have with Impact. So obviously, for those who know Impact Wrestling, Ethan Page is Ethan Page's tag team partner is Josh Alexander, who is currently contracted in Impact Wrestling, and obviously they have this whole thing going on. So are we going to see the crossover? Are we going to see the North in AEW, or are we going to see the North in Impact again? I don't know. I don't think so, because I don't think Ethan Page actually parted on good terms with Impact. His last match was him versus his alter ego, the Karate Man, or whatever he was called. The shoddiest. It looked like something like an MVQ level, a GCSE kid would put together on iMovie. But we're not going to go into RCB for the AEW one. So are we going to see that crossover? I don't know, because I don't think Ethan would want to work with Impact again. Hence why I'm surprised he signed with AEW, considering the partnership they got going on. But anyway, we'll go into the match. Now this match, like I said, was the one I was looking forward to, just due to the people in that ring. And you know you're going to get something spectacular when you got somebody like Penta El Zero Miedo in there. You are. It's just a guaranteed. So there were some massive spots in this, and we saw Penta hit a Canadian Destroyer on Cody Rhodes on a ladder bridge. We saw Scorpio Sky getting thrown off the ladder through a table. We saw a great spot where we saw the blackout by Lance Archer to Max Caster on a table. I mean, this match went back and forth. It was so much fun, and it's what you'd expect from an AEW ladder match. Big spots, big bumps, and a great match. And like I said, this was one of the matches that I was looking forward to on the card. So when it's all is said and done, good thing there's no interference, there's no change in this one. The other storyline was the whole, they kind of played up Cody Rhodes and hurt his shoulder in his match against Shaq. So they played that. So everybody's when I was watching it, my money was on Penta. I really wanted Penta to win this one, especially with Death Triangle winning the Casino Battle Royale as well. That would have been great to see the all members of Death Triangle, Pac and Phoenix with the tag titles, and then Penta with the TNT title. I mean, can you imagine it? Just imagine Death Triangle with all the titles. Not all the titles, but the 3 titles. Anyway, but yeah, some great spots. But the final minutes of the match, everybody's down. We had Scorpio Sky at the top of the ladder with Cody Rhodes. Now, when I saw that, I got worried. I've got to be honest. I genuinely thought they're going to give it back to Cody Rhodes. Now, I've got nothing against Cody Rhodes. I love Cody Rhodes. I reckon this is the best I've seen Cody Rhodes in a long time. But I was in the back of my mind, I was thinking, okay, if Penta doesn't win it, then I just thought they were going to give it to Cody. And Cody's would be like another shot at the TNT title. which I don't think anybody wants. And luckily, AEW kind of listen to their fans when it comes to this kind of stuff. But the final minutes of the match, we had Cody Rhodes and Scorpio Sky at the top of the ladder, both fighting over Sonic's gold ring. Yeah, they said it was a brass ring. It literally was Sonic's gold ring. So they're fighting at the top there. Scorpio Sky says something about his my time, takes Cody Rhodes off the top of the ladder, and then pulls down the brass ring, as they call it, and then has a shot at Scorpio Sky. Now has a shot at Darby Allin for that TNT Championship on Wednesday. Are they going to give it to him? I reckon they might. Because I reckon people love Darby Allin, and there's no denying that. But people love Scorpio Sky as well. So I don't know. Will they give it to Scorpio? I'd like to think they will. But we'll have to wait and see what they do with it. You don't know. You just don't know what AEW are going to do, which is good. It's not as predictable as we'd like to think sometimes. So like I said, for me, this was the match I was most looking forward to, and one of the matches I was most looking forward to. And I wasn't disappointed. I was personally myself, I'm quite disappointed I didn't get to see another Canadian Destroyer off the top of a ladder onto another ladder or onto something. I would have loved to see that. I love that move from Penta. So again, a solid match, a great match, and for me, this match does get a solid 4 out of 5. I'm looking forward to seeing this match on Wednesday, Scorpio Sky versus Darby Allin. Just to see what kind of shape Darby Allin's going to be in it, and I'll explain that as we go into the next match. But yeah, solid match. I kind of got my bets right. If I put some money on, I might have won something. But Scorpio Sky wins that one. So here we go. We're going to move on to your final 2 matches and a little bit of an announcement in the middle as well. So here we go. So we're going to get into the next part of the show. Now, I'm going to do this in one bit. Well, obviously everybody knows that Paul White is now signed, or the Big Show is now signed with AEW, and he made an announcement that a Hall of Fame worthy superstar is going to be signing with AEW, and people threw out all these different rumors. It was going to be Angle, it was going to be CM Punk, it was going to be this person, that person, and people talked about there's even certain superstars thrown into it, and one of the names that was thrown into it did actually sign, and that was a superstar that WWE have definitely dropped the ball on, and that was Christian Cage. So Christian Cage has officially signed with AEW. This is an interesting move, because obviously for those who know what happened, Christian Cage literally just in January debuted as a surprise entrant, one of the biggest surprise entrants for the Royal Rumble, and clearly WWE had nothing for him, and he's gone to AEW, which again I think so many people have said this, and I'm going to jump on the train as well. They had dropped the ball majorly on this, especially with Christian Cage. But you know what? Good luck to Christian Cage. I hope he makes a success of it here in AEW. And yeah, we'll see how that goes. Anyway, so it's signing AEW. AEW sign, Christian Cage, and then we move on to the last one match, the penultimate match, and it was the street fight. Team Taz of Ricky Starks and Brian Cage versus Sting and Darby Allin. So this was speculated it was going to be a cinematic match, and it was. Was it a disappointing cinematic match? Not in the slightest. Now, I know a lot of people have kind of knocked this one. I've watched a few reviews and a lot of people have said, but no, you've got Sting, a superstar who retired because he couldn't wrestle, has just come back, and you want to put him in a full-on match. No, you don't. So the cinematic match is great, especially with it being a street fight as well. Obviously, as well, they did need time to kind of set up the ring for the exploding barbed wire death match, which was the main event that was coming up, which we will talk about very soon. But for me, this match, I enjoyed this match. I really enjoyed this one. Sting looked great, and Sting took a lot more bumps than I expected, if I'm honest. So it clearly shows he is ready to get back in the ring, or he's ready to at least wrestle. And when I was watching the thing, when I was watching the whole setup, I tweeted out that somebody was going through bad, because the setup was like an abandoned warehouse with a big hole in the middle of it, like kind of like a second floor, like a basement kind of floor. And I tweeted it out that somebody was going through the floor. So the match goes on. There's some great spots. I mean, Darby Allin getting thrown through a glass pane. So many things. Great match. Innovation by Sting using a draw to take out Ricky Stark's knee, doing the thing. So great match, as you expected from a cinematic one. So the end of the match comes. It is Will Hobbs, Brian Cage, and Hook are handicapped while trying to take out Sting. Darby Allin shouts from the second balcony, who's just been thrown through glass pane, shouts at Sting, throws his bat, and then Sting just goes whale on his bat and actually breaks his bat over Brian Cage's back. I don't think that was meant to happen, because Sting looked what happened. They picked up a spade, smacked him across the head. And then Brian Cage falls onto a platform across this balcony. And this is when I said, I knew somebody was going through it. So the big spot in this one is Darby Allin from the third floor of this warehouse jumps through an open window, coffin drop through to Brian Cage, through this balcony down to the basement. A beautiful spot. And probably Darby Allin did it himself, because that is Darby Allin. He's just an egg case. What kind of state he's going to be in for his match on Wednesday? I don't know. Interested. But the end of the match came, and it was Ricky Starks taking the Scorpion Death Drop from Sting, and Sting wins the match for him and Darby Allin. This one, again, it's a cinematic match, so we've seen a lot of them with this whole lockdown's gone on. And it's what you'd expect, especially when you've got somebody with the restrictions of Sting. Sting is an old man now; he's not getting any younger, so he, is restricted in what he can do. But you saw it, and it was great. An average match, a cinematic. What we expect from a cinematic match. So for me, this match does get a 3 out of 5. I loved the spot with Darby Allin. I loved that one. That was a great spot. But that was really only a highlight. And the fact that I was impressed with how many bumps Sting took. So, yeah, well done. That's 3 out of 5 for that one. But now we're going to move on to the main event. So here we have it, main event time. And it was... Well, this was a once-in-a-lifetime match, and I don't think we're going to see one of these in AEW again in a long time. But it was main event, and the main event, it was an exploding barbed wire death match for the AEW World Championship between Jon Moxley and Kenny Omega. Now, this was my first real barbed wire death, but not so much barbed wire death match. I've seen plenty of them from CZW, GCW. They do them regularly. But this was This is my first time doing an exploding barbed wire death match, and I did my research. I looked into this one, and I was expecting something spectacular. And was I disappointed? We'll get into it. So basically, we all know the story of the match. The way the match worked is three of sides of the ring are covered in barbed wire and explosives. So every time you went into the barbed wire, there would be an explosive. There would be an explosion triggered. If I can talk, it'd be good. So that was that one. And then also on the outside, there was 3 planks, three planks of wood with barbed wire on them, connected to some mortars. So if you went through them, they'd go up as well. And it was a 30-minute time limit on the match. And after 30 minutes, the ring would explode. That's the premise. That is the match. It's no rules. And as you can expect, especially when you've got somebody like Jon Moxley, now that he's got into this, now he is Jon Moxley, unscripted, violent, and all that kind of stuff. this was a great match. It was bloody, it was brutal, it was gruesome, it was great. I mean, Jon Moxley took the first explosion to the back. The second explosion that went off, great idea. Kenny Omega goes to a figure 4. Jon Moxley kicks him off, so it explodes in his face. Picks him back up, drop kicks him, so Kenny Omega gets 2 explosions. Then it was the third one as well. Again, I think where both men were power drive, were basically run Kenny Omega, run Jon Moxley into it, but still held on, and it blew in his face. And then on the outside, we had a great spot where Jon Moxley hits the paradigm shift on these the barbed wire boards that were set up to set off some more mortars. So as you can expect, this was bloody, this was brutal, and so you expect from it. A great spot in it as well. Doing the match, before Kenny Omega went into the explosions for the first time. He had a figure 4 because he's been working over Moxley's leg. He had him in a figure 4, and Jon Moxley picked up a barbed wire steel chair and literally grated it across the leg of Kenny Omega as if he was sawing his leg off, cutting it off. Great spot, which broke that one up then, which led into the explosion. As you can expect from this storyline, as it started being, Kenny Omega can't seem to beat Moxley without help. So during the match, after the first explosion on the outside, after the match, the Good Brothers of Luke Gallows and Carl Anderson come out to help Kenny Omega. They hand Kenny Omega a barbed wire bat. Yeah, you thought everything. Hits Jon Moxley with this barbed wire bat, and it explodes. It's an exploding barbed wire bat. I mean, that is spectacular on its own. The explosions are spectacular. The barbed wire, the barbed wire explosions on the outside, the bat exploding. It was great. I loved it. I was even a little bit nervous. I don't know why I was nervous about it. I was a little bit nervous watching the match. So it ends up. So it starts off. This is one of probably the greatest spots that I've seen in wrestling. So obviously, as we know, Kenny Omega's one-winged angel. Nobody's kicked out of it, so they're protecting the finisher. So Kenny Omega hits the one-winged angel onto Jon Moxley, and this is where I thought, oh, this is done. It's finished. But no, Jon Moxley kicks the ropes to set off the explosion, which then explodes in Kenny Omega's face to break up the pin. So he didn't, as wrestlers say, he didn't necessarily kick out of the pin. He didn't kick out of the one-winged angel, but he broke it up. The intelligence of Jon Moxley to do something like that, great. Obviously, the Good Brothers, they come out. The final spot, we had a chair set up. Kenny Omega hits the one-winged angel onto a steel chair. 1, 2, 3, picks up the win, and still AEW World Champion is Kenny Omega. But that's not the end of it. Now, while this match is going on, there's a 30-minute countdown, as I did say previously. And at the end of 30 minutes, the ring all the explosions go off and the ring explodes. So for those who go on YouTube and watch the FMW, I think it's FMW matches, big explosions. So I'm expecting something. This is going to be an amazing spectacle. This is the best way to about. So Omega and the Good Brothers are beating on Moxley. They've handcuffed him, carry on with him, bust him open again, and this goes on for 2 minutes. Kenny Omega looks deranged at this point as well. Stains kind of drooling at the mouth. Looks absolutely demented. So then this is going on, but then there's a 1 minute countdown comes up on the screen. I'm thinking, oh, here we go. This is going to be the big one. So there's a little bit more beating up of Jon Moxley, but then with 40 seconds to go, I'd say, the Good Brothers and Kenny Omega leave the ring. Out comes Eddie Kingston. Now this is where this is where the twist of the story came, and I was like, this is looking great, and probably one of the most emotional scenes in wrestling I have seen. I think Ollie Days said it himself. He cried, but I didn't cry myself, but it was an emotional moment. Eddie Kingston, the person who has been friends with Moxley for so long, had a storied rivalry with that great barbed wire match that they had. But the match they had with the barbed wire choke and all that kind of stuff. So he comes out to the ring, 30 seconds left on the clock. Moxie's out. The Butcher and the Blade trying to get Kingston to come back, but Kingston jumps into the ring. 20 seconds, about 20 seconds to go now. Building up the tension. I think this, and again, I'm watching this thinking with my jaw to the floor. Eddie Kingston tries to get in the ring, trying to wake up Jon Moxley. Jon Moxley isn't out of it. So they keep, this whole thing is going on. Then there's a 10-second countdown. The 10-second countdown comes on. Commentators are building it up. Everybody's like, oh, what's going to happen? 10 seconds. Eddie Kingston cannot get Moxley up. So what Kingston does, as you see in so many great superhero movies, Kingston covers Jon Moxley, puts his own body at risk, covers Jon Moxley. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Ooh, sirens go off. And sparklers. Such an anticlimactic thing. And after such a great match, and that end scene as well of Jon Moxley being covered by Eddie Kingston, somebody who had a massive rivalry with, all that kind of stuff. Both men remain in the ring trying to sell it. But it was so anticlimactic. I was expecting this big explosion, big smoke screens, and it literally was sparklers. Sparklers come out the corners. And again, it was so anticlimactic, which was so disappointing. And I'll get to my final thoughts on what I think about it. But Jon Moxley and Eddie Kingston sell it as he would do. The thing is, though, like with that anticlimactic, I'm thinking, was there a malfunction? Did something go wrong? I'm still waiting. I'm thinking as I'm watching it with bated breath. I was a bit, I know there's going to be an explosion out of nowhere, but no, nothing. Did something go wrong? Was there misconnection? Did something? That's what I think. I reckon something went wrong. I think something malfunctioned, and it didn't. There was going to be a spectacular explosion, but there's no way you're going to do that and then play that way. But this is the thing. After it went offline, Jon Moxley made a comment, because throughout that whole match, Don Callis was bragging about the fact that him and Kenny Omega have designed this. So Jon Moxley just goes off and was saying, you know, Kenny Omega, something like Kenny Omega is a tough guy, but you can't build an exploding ring for shit. So yeah, anticlimactic. But take all that out. Take that end bit out. The match in general, what you can expect from something. And you know, a lot of people might not agree with this, but I am generally going to give this match a 5 out of 5. It's going to get the max. Excellent match, some great spots, great storylines with Eddie Kingston. I mean, so many layers in this one. And it is going to get a 5 out of 5. I'm going to ignore what happened at the end, but we're going to give this one a big 5 out of 5. I keep saying that, but I put it up eventually. But yeah, so that was AEW Revolution. So we're going to go into my final thoughts. So there you have it, my review of AEW Revolution. This is my final thoughts on the whole thing. Overall, a great pay-per-view. You can't expect anything less from AEW. My only problem is I think it's going to be judged for that ending. Now, my opinion, and this is my advice to those who watch this video, do not judge the whole pay-per-view on a botched ending. Admittedly, yes, you want to leave them with a bang, and AEW didn't, literally. But don't judge that. Don't base a judgment on that small spot based off the whole thing. Because in my opinion, again, AEW continue to put on these great pay-per-views, great shows. And I'm not surprised they're beating WWE in the ratings and everything at the moment. So that's what I say. That's my only thing I reckon is going to go against this pay-per-view, is the fact that people are going to judge it off that small botch at the end. But ignore that, and you look over the whole general of the pay-per-view. In my opinion, AEW Revolution does get a 5 out of 5. Now, agree with me if you don't or not, but admittedly the end was anticlimactic, and that does leave a bit of a sour taste in my mouth. But You've got to look past that, because at the end of the day, although this is a show, we look at the wrestling of it and the storyline, and AEW do that so well. So hence why they are getting the full 5 out of 5. So congratulations to AEW, and I am looking forward to Dynamite on Wednesday. But there we have it, my first wrestling review. I hope you enjoyed that one. Admittedly, yes, it has gone on for a little bit. It is a long video, it's a long pay-per-view. But if you have stuck to the end, thank you very much. I hope you've enjoyed this. Please hit that like button, subscribe, put on those notifications if you want as well, so you know when I eventually do bring out a video. But from myself, you have a great day, have a great night, have a great evening, and I'll see you all really soon. Goodbye.